Morning, everybody. How you doing today? As you can tell from the background, in yet another location this week, I am actually in Dallas, Texas, down at the Trend Micro North American headquarters for some meetings, some FaceTime with the fantastic team down here after a great couple days at the Sector conference in Toronto, Canada. Now, yesterday on the show, we talked about delivering hard news. That was just before I did a keynote that was all about hard news. Now, good news is, if you ever need to know how to silence a room of 1,300 people, give me a call. The keynote was interesting to deliver. As I was delivering it, it was hard to get a read on the audience because there was a lot of silence. But I choose to think that was because they were absorbing the message, they were listening to what I had to say, they were listening to the statistics and the data that I brought to back up that argument. And I tried to keep it lighthearted and point out the positives when I could. Now, after I got off stage, obviously I was worried. Giving an hour-long keynote to almost pure silence is a little unnerving. But I got off stage and I got a ton of great feedback, a ton of great questions from people, a lot of people nodding their heads saying, you know what, that is a situation that I find myself in from a security culture perspective. That was enlightening, that's difficult. Do you have suggestions of how to move forward? Now, that was the one downside. If I was going to say there's any weakness in my talk, and this kind of ties to the issue from yesterday, and for those of you that didn't see the keynote yesterday, it will be available on the Sector site. Sector.ca/presentations should be up there within the next week or two, so you can see for yourself. But the one weakness in this keynote, and I said it right out of the gate, was that it doesn't offer solutions. It's not a prescriptive, it's not preaching and saying this is what you need to do. It was highlighting the issues to give people the awareness of constraints that they weren't really privy to before. They're just things that they assumed were written in stone, and trying to highlight the reasons as to how that got to the point it was, and what it was doing to impact the outcomes. So lots of great conversations afterwards, some good ones online, a lot of great ones in person in the hallway, a lot of great discussions with other speakers at the conference as well, as apparently there's a lot to pull out of that keynote. So there is one thing that ties back to yesterday's topic, which was delivering hard news, was you need to expect the fact that people are going to have that logical follow-up question, which is, okay, what can I do about this? And I thought I had anticipated that enough. That was the positive, constructive feedback, was that obviously I could have done a little bit more in that keynote, in that talk structure, and I'll update it to reflect that, of walking people to the next step. So I would equate the analogy as, I highlighted the walls and the ceiling and the floor of the room that people were stuck in, and I showed them a door. What people are really asking for is open that door up a little bit and let me peer out a little more than just making me aware that there's a door there. So that was great. It was fantastic feedback. I was really happy with how that went. And I like to learn something as well. And I think I delivered some value in that keynote, but also I got value out of it, understanding that when you're dealing with difficult news like that, and it isn't just with a talk like that, it's talking to the board, it's talking to a business team, it's dealing with application developers, it's any number of things, is that you should be prepared to take that next step. And that's a good thing. That's a really positive thing, where people want the ability to, or they're eager to move forward. They're eager to see where things are and how to get out of this trap. So I think that's really interesting. I think that is a key takeaway, is that if you're highlighting an issue, sometimes you have a little more success than you'd think highlighting that issue, and people want inertia. They want the ability to keep rolling. So interesting, really valuable lesson for me. Hopefully I've translated that to you on the show. If you're going to deliver bad news, do it constructively, do it data-driven, take the personalities out of it, have empathy, and try to be clear and consistent, and stick to that, to the quantitative, not to qualitative, not to personalize things. And have the next steps ready, even if you don't know what they are. Have some, further studies warranted here. Let's work together. Let's collaborate. Let's move forward. Now, in a keynote situation that was really hard internally in your own organizations, you can do that. Like, hey, this is a problem, business application team. Here's how there are some avenues we can look to make this better. Let's work together on that. So that's my advice for you. And some of my experiences from a fantastic conference. I cannot recommend Sector enough. If you're in Toronto in the fall in 2019, you absolutely should be there. Even if you're not in Toronto, make your way to Toronto to go check this out, this conference out. It's 2 full official days. There's normally pre-day activities on the Monday as well. Jam-packed full of great content, great people, fantastic conversations in the hallway, great social side of it to network and expand and learn from others. How did you handle delivering the bad news topic yesterday? What do you think about my observations from the keynote and in general today? Let me know online. Hit me up at MarkNCA on all social networks. For those of you on the vlog, in the comments down below. And as always, by email, me at markn.ca for our podcast listeners and everybody else. I hope you are set up for a fantastic Thursday. I will talk to you online, and I'll see you on the show tomorrow.